Hey there! You're in for a real treat today. We've dug up 5 of the most spine-chilling true stories from around the world, each one more terrifying than the last. Our first stop is the quiet village of Aberfan, Wales. In 1966, this tight-knit community was forever shattered by a devastating tragedy. A massive spoil tip from a nearby coal mine collapsed, unleashing a tidal wave of debris that engulfed the village school. 116 children and 28 adults lost their lives that day, buried alive under the sludge. The village was plunged into unimaginable grief, and the psychological scars still linger to this day. Could this disaster have been prevented? The warning signs were there, but greed and negligence won out in the end. It's a sobering reminder of the human cost of putting profits over people. Next up, we've got a story that'll make you think twice about taking a solo hike in the woods. A young farmhand in rural Missouri was out for a moonlit stroll when he encountered something that defies explanation. At first, he thought it was just a big black dog. But as he got closer, he realized this was no ordinary canine. It stood up on its hind legs, revealing hands instead of paws. The creature stalked the farmhand through the woods, its green eyes glinting in the darkness. He barely escaped with his life, and to this day, he's haunted by the memory of that night. Was it a werewolf? A skinwalker? Or something even more sinister? From the woods, we descend into the depths of the earth for our third tale. In 2011, disaster struck the Glesion Colliery in South Wales. A sudden flood trapped 7 miners underground, with no way out. Rescue teams worked around the clock to reach them, but time was running out. In the end, only 3 miners made it out alive. The other 4 perished in the dark, cold embrace of the mine. For the survivors, the ordeal was a waking nightmare. They had to listen to their colleagues slowly drowning, powerless to help. It's a tragic reminder of the dangers that miners face every day, and the incredible bravery of those who risk their lives to save others. Story number 4 takes us to the American Southwest, where a group of friends made a gruesome discovery while exploring an abandoned mine. Deep in the tunnels, they stumbled upon a chamber filled with the remains of small animals, mice, frogs, birds, all carefully preserved and arranged in bizarre, ritualistic patterns. At the center of it all was a rat skeleton, dressed up in a miniature dress made of its own skin. Who or what could have created such a macabre display? The friends got out of there as fast as they could, but the memory of that chamber still haunts them. Is there a sick and twisted killer out there, honing their craft on innocent creatures? For our final story, we've saved the most chilling tale of all. In 2004, a man named Clarence Elkins was convicted of brutally murdering his mother-in-law in Ohio. The only evidence against him was the eyewitness testimony of his 6-year-old niece. Clarence maintained his innocence, but he was sentenced to life in prison. It wasn't until years later that the truth finally came out. The real killer was Earl Mann, a convicted murderer and child abuser who had dated Clarence's wife's next-door neighbor. The neighbor had taken an agonizingly long time to respond to the little girl's cries for help on the night of the murder, because Mann was in her house, threatening her into silence. Thanks to DNA evidence and the tireless efforts of Clarence's wife, he was finally exonerated after spending 7 years behind bars for a crime he didn't commit. But the scars of that ordeal will never fully heal. Thanks for joining us for another spine-tingling edition of True Scary Stories. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content.